Hi, everyone, and welcome back. You've made it to day four of the Spark to Scale Challenge. We have one more day after this, and I'm really excited. I hope that you're getting further clarity regardless of what pathway you are on. So, as you've become accustomed, this is an interactive challenge. I hope that every day you've been able to take a few minutes during our call and after our call to think about what your journey is. You came here to really move from an idea to an actual plan. And as we get to the end of this challenge, we're going to start thinking about what's next for you. It's interesting as we go back to day one, and you've seen me use my journal. Day one, we actually had the reconnecting workspaces dice come up as what's next. And that's the 90-day journey. So you've probably come here because you're one of three types of people. You're either writing a book and crafting your own story, you're enhancing your visibility, or you're looking at expanding your coaching to more than one person. Each one of these pathways has a next step. And given that we're moving into fall of 2025, each fall, doesn't matter what year, we have most of our programs starting again. So our ICF CCE approved programming, which leads to both foundational and advanced training and grouping team coaching, will start just after Labor Day. I'm also going to be hosting this year a 90-day writing group. We're going to be kicking off with 3 days of intensive work over Labor Day, then into weekly calls, leading into 30 days of support in November. That is really geared for you if you want to have your story come out to the world, whether you're writing fiction or nonfiction. I know so many of you are really looking at getting a book out into the world. The third group here is really about amplifying your message. And I found it interesting when I started on day one prompts. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to work on my next book. Actually, I've been thinking this week about amplifying my own message and what that can look like, sound like. So, with those people, you might be aware that our Amplify Mastermind, which kicked off in 2024, is going to be starting up again this fall. And it will run from September, mid September, until April, May of the next year. It is weekly calls, 3 weekly calls. So it really is that deep, deep dive. When I say 3 weekly calls, I host a Monday, 10:30 to 11 a.m. planning session where we come together, we do some more creative work like we've been doing to help you plan for the week. What are your top rocks? What's important for you? And that really sets you up for success. This year, I'll be doing Tuesday calls to really then get into some of the content and coaching, actually, the coaching of the week. And you're going to be invited at the end of the week to join us either in the Coaching Biz Growth Lab or the Learning Lab and Design Studio. So that is part of that execution lab work, getting your hands dirty. So I hope that this spark that was started this week is going to lead you to something next, whether you're able to do that with us or with someone else. It's not enough in today's business context to just leave our sparks on the table. We are in an era of AI. And while there's not an urgency, there's a human urgency, I think, to get our work out into the world. People need the conversations that you're going to create with them, whether it's through a story, whether it's through your business, whether it's through coaching. So, with that, I hope that you've enjoyed this. I want to invite you to check out the bonus day that I did on creating a micro experience, where we also added leaders and teams to the mix, because that's the final group of people that I work with all the time. Typically, in a given year, I'm working with anywhere from 5 to 10 different teams, and we may be meeting weekly, bi weekly. What I love about that is I get to partner with you. You're doing a lot of the work, but to see the leapfrogs that happen week to week to week, touch point to touch point, is really inspiring me and inspiring. And it inspires my work. It inspires, I think, the work that I do then with coaches, with writers, because you are the heart of the work. So, with that, today we are really going to be picking up. Fieldwork 3 was all about who do you want to share with and how do you want to share your idea. If maybe you're looking at content at this point of the week, I hope that you're really going to think about, what does the 90-day plan start to look like? Tomorrow is all about the sustain. Today, of course, is that really last piece of scale. What does scale look like? And I think it's really important that we do put it in the context of what's the micro experience we want to create, because each one of us does something different. So this is an invite. If you haven't checked out that bonus call that I did, it wasn't planned, but it really made sense as we went through to get you thinking about your micro experience. As I shared, one of the sort of bonus grand prizes at the end of this week, if you complete all 5 days, is to be entered into a draw where I'll be doing an actual experience design consultation with the winner. And that will mean that we start right from scratch. Like, where are you on your journey? Whether you're new to business, experienced in business, what's your brand? What is the experience you want to create? And I'm looking forward to doing that with our grand prize winner. So today, day 4, it's our focus is about scale, and it's about crafting the brave ask, because we don't want your light to stay with you. It's so important that we get your light shining. And it's interesting, this summer 2025, there is a song that I've been hearing on the radio. And as soon as it comes on, I do a lot of driving up here, it just gets me fired up, and it's about getting your light to shine. And so I hope today is about helping you stand out with confidence so that you're able to create a brave ask to the people, because we don't want your work to just stay with you. It's so important that we get it out into the world. So I want to start with, I realize I haven't started with a sparker, but we're going to start today with these two questions. What does it mean to be brave? And what does it mean to be courageous? So, again, as you think about your message or your experience or the program you want to create, what does it mean to be brave? What does it mean to be courageous? Before we move into that 2-minute reflection, just want to remind you that courage comes from the French word cœur, or heart. So, how can you come from more heart in the work that you're doing right now? What do people need to hear about the human side of you? If you've been listening to our Coaching Many podcast, you'd know that I say often, I am so also inspired by Lenny Kravitz's newest song of Human, because we can't replicate ourselves, right? As much as we want to clone ourselves, AI is not able to do the human emotional empathy side of things. So I want to give you a moment to jump into today's prompts. We'll do 2 minutes on the timer. What does it mean to be brave with your ask and in getting it out into the world? Let's start with that for 2 minutes. What does it mean to be brave right now for you? Enjoy. Next question is, what does it mean to be courageous? Think about the heart, and what can you be doing to bring more heart to your work? So I'm very aware that today's prompts might have touched a couple of very tender spots, as we think about our heart, as we think about the heart of the matter and why this work is so important, why we need to get the work out in the world. It can activate so many things. It can activate our saboteurs. It can activate those inner critics. It can activate sense of feelings of I'm not good enough. I don't know what to do. Here's the thing, and there's many things to this, but I think one of the things that I hope you are experiencing in this short 5-day challenge is we can start to generate some momentum. And I want you to think about where you started just a few days ago and all the learning and all the insights that you are gleaning, right? I encouraged everyone to grab a journal. I've been following along myself. And whether it's been images, whether it's been different prompts, there's a lot percolating. And that's why I wanted to do this in middle of August, a few weeks before we start our fall programming, because the percolation can take time, right? We may not quite be ready to take action, but I hope that you will, whether you're ready to take action or not, put what you are uncovering. Again, a few days ago, we had that the shovel in the conversation, spark or charmed. But what are you uncovering? What are you unearthing? What are you wanting to plant the seeds around? And so, one of my favorite parts of this week's challenge is our visual prompts. And I want to take you to today's questions around scale. Again, with the bold ask in mind, how do you want to get this out into the world? Or what is the scaling factor for you? I want to invite you first, 30 seconds, to grab or think about what is the image that you want to be diving deeper into in this next sort of few minutes together. I'm going to invite you to, I'm going to start the timer again. We'll take 30 seconds, grab an image, think about which one you want. And I want you to actually draw it out. So definitely draw it out. Maybe there's a couple that are catching your eye. Which one is it? Let's start with that. And as you look at this, what's the energy that this image cultivates? What are you noticing about it? As you look at it, what is present and what is not present? And as you think about this image, what is the next frame? If you were to widen it out, what else would you see? What else would you notice? What would be in front of this image? What is the message that you're getting about this as it relates to scaling your work and getting your message out? Take a minute to reflect on that question. So I hope that's valuable. It was interesting. I picked two images today, which I think are really reflective of what we do here at Potentials Realized. I picked the one at the start of the screen. And when I say the start, at the upper right with the different seedlings at different stages. And we do work with coaches and writers and leaders and teams at all stages. They might be new to their work, new to their team, new to the craft of writing, or they may be seasoned. And that's where we have multiple pathways of programming and multiple programs to meet people where they're at. Maybe you just want to do a quick intensive dive, like at our writing intensive weekend. You just want to do that work. Or maybe you want a full 90 days of support through the 90 days writing pathway. If you're a group and team coach, maybe group coaching essentials was enough to get you started, but now you realize that you need more and you join us for some of our advanced coursework or even the entire 70 or 125-hour pathway. As our business has grown, our capabilities to support you at all stages of your journey has grown. So I think this is what I want to share today as we think about scaling as business owners, sometimes it seems like we're just doing this, but what are the bridges, right? Many of you might have picked that bridge. What are the bridges from one program to another? It can take years for us to start seeing those bridges, but I want to leave you with some field work today to further think about what it means to scale your work, whether that is growing up, growing wide, collaborating more, expanding by doing more in person and digital, doing not only one on one, but group and team. There are so many different ways that we can scale our work. So, two questions for you. We're going to do these one at a time. And the first question is, what is your brave ask? As you think about this work and what you want to get out into the world, what is your brave ask? What do you want to get out? And I think we maybe need a sparker for that. So I'm going to do back to our dice. We will do three prompts through the dice set. I'm using the red ones today. Let's see what words come up and what numbers come up. And so the first one is circadian rhythms, number 63. Circadian rhythms. When you're making your brave ask, how do you do it at a time and in a way that matches your strengths and works with you, not against you? Because we know that with circadian rhythms, it is a time at which we are at our best. So when do you and how do you make that brave ask? How do you make sure that you're doing the work on these new areas, on these stretch areas at a time of day that works well for you? Question one. Question number two is, are you being productive or busy? That is day number 67. Really good and provocative question. Are we being productive or busy? What does that look like as it relates to today's question of scaling? Final one is, and this is one I haven't had before, which is interesting, and it is troubleshooting. Okay, so number 60, troubleshooting. What needs some troubleshooting right now? Is there something in your process that isn't working? Is there something that's not working so that you can scale? If you had to identify something that's not working, what is that? So let's take a look at these three questions. And again, I hope I was showing this right one. Troubleshooting, productive, not busy, and also circadian rhythm. Let's take 2 minutes. What is the relevance to your brave ask and what you're going to be asking for? All right, I hope those give you some insights as to when you're at your best, what you want to be focusing on. So now let's get into these questions. With that in mind, what is your brave ask and to whom do you want to make your ask? When do you want to make your ask? Let's take 2 minutes to explore that question. Enjoy the reflection. So, over the last few days, we've been really getting from this notion of the spark of your idea into looking at the next phase, which is what shape could it take? Then we looked at who do you want to share this with? What's important about your people? We did a bit of it around a bonus of experience design. And today it was all about scale. You've got some field work today, which is really to do an invitation, to make an invitation, to think about the journey you want to take people on. I think these are pretty big questions. And so I want to leave us with 2 more minutes to start tackling this. As you look at the journey one, you might say, I want to go back to that micro experience bonus call because we really started looking at that. I would also say that this is part of the larger 90-day plan that we're going to keep iterating and activating on because the first pass of the plan is not the last pass. And it's through these weekly or daily actions that, as I say in Plan, Do, Track, and Coaching Business Builder, daily steps plus consistent action creates momentum. We cannot know what is next on the path if we cannot see it. And most of our work as coaches, as writers, as entrepreneurs, as leaders and teams is not clear, especially in a rapidly changing environment, which is why we need to be focusing on taking daily steps and micro action every day. So, what is the invitation you can make? Let's take 2 minutes to reflect on this question. And, or what is the journey you want to take people on? So I want to make an invite to all of you. If you've been enjoying yourself this week, I hope that you'll set up a call with me to explore what is your next step. We're weeks away from the beginning of fall, and all different pathways are going to have a program related. Our ICF CCE approved coach training starts up again after Labor Day. For those that are writing and want to take their writing to the next level, we've got our Labor Day writing sprint, followed by 12 weeks of weekly calls, ending up with 30 more days of writing to either get the work out or do the editing so that you can have your manuscript ready to roll, maybe even in publishers' proposal hands by November 30th. That's the Writing in Sparker intensive. For those that are coaches that want to get their message out, we've got Amplify Mastermind starting, which is that intensive weekly focus. So we have so much on the go. I want to be bold in saying, I hope that you've enjoyed this and that you'll join us, and maybe like the shouts of glee that you're hearing in the background, that you'll come and celebrate and have fun in our experiential, in our creative spaces where we're able to offer you road tested tools that have been developed over the last 20 years with these different groups, with solopreneurs, with coaches, with teams. And we are always on the edge of change. You know that. And so my work in the last year has really been about what does it mean to be human in the era of AI? And that is going to be a continued focus. Just like Reconnecting Workspaces was once only about virtual remote hybrid, Reconnecting Workspaces in 2025 is about the evolving world of work. So I hope that you'll come back and join us for our final day together for day 5, which is going to be about sustaining and how you're going to keep this alive and growing. We've already given this week 2 hours of focus, 2.5 hours if you joined us for the bonus. So let's give it a bit more, and you will be able to step into the new second year of the year, September, with some clarity and hopefully having a bit of fun. So with that, everyone, thanks for joining us. I'll see you again soon. See you tomorrow. Bye.